and they can't understand.
Have you heard Suicide by Ren? It just came out.
I don't think so. I've been stuck on Achilles Come Down.
Do you want to cry?
Sure. Maybe. Can You Make Me Cry? This is a new snippet called Can You Make Me Cry?
Well, don't try not to. I want you to experience it.
Can you evoke that is the question, because not a lot of things do.
Yeah, but you've dealt with suicide.
Usually animals. Hi. So if animals commit suicide.
That was weird.
Then I will probably cry.
No, it's about
Let's see.
his friend. But it's also just a good song.
Okay. Like it already.
Mm-hmm.
This is our music review for the day.
Falling through the cracks of the night sky. A light goes out on the other side. Suicide, suicide, suicide. Treading on the tracks in the night time. It never really felt like the right time. Suicide, suicide, suicide. I'm so fucking lonely beneath this. Narcissistic, can't keep a secret. Miscount sheep, I can't sleep, a misfit. Some say trouble, but some say sadistic. Bruises my brother, one time or the other. My skin felt counterfeit, silicone rubber. Bruises my sister, skin pop the blister. Dig deep, resist the feeling when it hits you. Falling through the cracks of the night sky. A light goes out on the other side. Suicide, suicide, suicide. Treading on the tracks in the night time. It never really felt like the right time. Suicide, suicide, suicide. Sick boy, bitten by a tech boy. I feel like it's not me, it's the world that's sick. I'm so fucking washed up and seasick. Masochistic kid with a split lip. 6 feet deep, I can't eat, I'm nervous. Won't stay down cause my body purges. Useless my mother, can't keep in my supper. Skin so pale cause my cheeks leak colour. Truth is my father, you choose your karma. Draw for the sword, then drive through the armour. Falling through the cracks of the night sky. A light goes out on the other side. Suicide, suicide, suicide. Treading on the tracks in the night time. It never really felt like the right time. Suicide, suicide, suicide. Suicide, suicide, suicide. Suicide, suicide, suicide. Suicide, suicide, suicide. Suicide, suicide, suicide.
And then this part's the sad part.
It's hard to take off from the ground when your wings are cut. Your stomach burns when you're drinking from an empty cup. You know the entire ocean came from my tear ducts. I see the world through Fibonacci sequences and double Dutch. I guess there's some that's born lucky, there's some that's not. I tried to cut away my bitterness, hatchet job. I locked my youth inside a trunk, inside a pickup truck, then dumped the whole thing over that same bridge the night you jumped. I think about that sometimes, vividly. What it felt like to look down and see tranquility. One sudden movement in a world of possibility. Only one movement to expose our fragility. I fucking miss you, and I miss myself. I miss thinking we were indestructible as well. I miss chilling by the pier cave and kicking back with Callum, Hugo, Sager, Justin, Stevie and the fucking lads. I miss missing that. I numb myself to close the gap. I never even call them up. The distance is my plaster cast. The truth is that the day you jumped, my childhood jumped too. But I still can't find the anger. All I find is missing you, man, I miss you. With all my rhymes, I picture running 5 minutes quicker, I'm right on time. I picture pulling you back over the edge and then we're crying, and holding you, my brother, and telling you that it's fine. Not the way that it worked, cause I was late like a jerk. There's not a day where I could find a way to break from the hurt. Your body missing, so we never got to wave to the hers. I hope you're listening, I love you, man, I miss you absurd. Fuck.
Yeah.
Right?
Wow.
It's a good song, though.
It's a really good song.
Mm-hmm.
That shit's sick.
Yeah. It's been stuck in my head. Like that.
I like that a lot.
Yeah. That and what's it called?
Achilles.
Achilles are like
We gotta go there now.
in my brain.
And each of the like French bits are pieces of literature on suicide.
Yeah.
So they're like, I can't even remember. I'd have to go back through the thing that taught me what it was.
Yeah.
It's just so good. Ugh. Twofer for you.
Achilles, 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 come down, won't you get up off the roof? You're scaring us and all of us. Some of us love you, Achilles. It's not much, but there's proof. You crazy ass cosmonaut, remember your virtue. Redemption lies plainly in truth. Just humor us, Achilles. Achilles, come down, won't you get up off the roof?
Je vois que beaucoup de gens meurent parce qu'ils estiment que la vie ne vaut pas la peine d'être vécue. J'en vois d'autres qui se font paradoxalement tuer pour les idées.
What's funny is that I found this song like a long time ago,
Did you?
but I never kept it. So it was one that I found, and then I was
then
like,
you could
"Oh, I
never
want
find
that."
it again. Yeah.
Achilles, Achilles, come down.
I didn't even
won't
have
you
my
get
thing on
up
shuffle
get
with
up off the roof?
things. And it
The
just
self
was
is
on
not
shuffle
so
with things.
weightless.
That's
and then
crazy.
it inserted it. And I was like,
Remember the pact of our youth. Where you go, I'm going. So jumping, I'm jumping. Since there is no me without you. Soldier on Achilles, Achilles, come down, won't you get up off the roof? Love the way they light candles in Rome, but love the sweet air of the votive. Hurt and grieve, but don't suffer alone. Engage with the pain as a motive.
that line is so powerful for me.
Mhm.
Like, because I assume if we're going to save this for the thing, I would just want that out there. Because that one, as soon as I heard that line, that was where I was like, wow, what was that?
Oh, I
Where
love
he
that when
says,
like you find something and then it
Yeah.
strikes you like that. Like,
hurt and grieve, but don't suffer alone. Engage with the pain as a motive.
mhm.
And I love that idea of like, go through it, dude.
Yeah,
Go through it, but don't isolate yourself and don't run from the pain.
that's the trick, right?
Yeah.
Because like that's what you want to do
Yeah,
is isolate, and that's like I'll cope with it by isolating,
right.
but that's not
Yeah,
going through it really. That's
Yeah.
burying yourself in it.
right. Exactly. No, I think that has so much power to it.
Yeah.
And just to say, even engage with the pain as a motive.
Yeah.
It's like that pain is part of you now. Use it.
That would be a
and
nice
move
tattoo
on.
to get, actually.
Yeah. Engage with the pain as a motive.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
Today of all days, see how the most dangerous things to love. How you hear you rise above.
D'un gérant d'immeuble qui s'était tué, on disait un jour qu'il avait perdu sa fille depuis 5 ans, qu'il avait beaucoup changé depuis, et que cette histoire l'avait
Achilles, 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 jump now. You are absent of cause or excuse. So self-indulgent and self-referential, no audience could ever want you. You crave the applause, you hate the attention, and then missing your act is a ruse. It is empty, Achilles, so end it all now. It's a pointless resistance for you.
Ce qui déclenche la crise est presque toujours incontrôlable. Je m'en parle souvent. Chacun
It's
sa
so well composed
Yeah.
too.
Well,
explication.
and I referred to it when I was telling Randy about this song as a 4-act song.
Yes.
Because it absolutely is. It's like, this is a story and an emotional journey going through that painful place and coming out on the other side.
Yeah.
And it's just so well constructed. It's
Oh, yeah.
such a good song. Like, I don't know where this thing has been hiding for so long, but holy cow, because it's like, it's a 5-year-old song.
Mm-hmm. That's what I
Maybe
mean.
even
Like I
older than
found
that.
it, I think, when it came out.
Yeah.
But it was one of those ones that I was like, oh, I'll remember.
Right.
And then I couldn't for the life
Nope.
of me remember it.
Because for me, like, I kept going to Icarus
Yeah.
for some reason.
That's where
Yeah.
your brain wants to go.
Right. And so I was like, I will never remember unless I add it right this second.
Yeah.
Add it to the playlist.
sont valables, mais il faudrait savoir si le jour même, un être désespéré lui apparaît sur un ton différent. Celui-là,
Achilles, just put down the bottle. Don't listen to what you've consumed. It's chaos, confusion, and wholly unworthy of feeding, and it's wholly untrue.
That hits me. That line. I like it.
Right? Like, oh, it's so good because we go through that part where his inner voice is in that really low place,
Mhm.
right? And then we come out with this other half here where what is the line? It's put down the bottle, don't listen to what you've consumed.
Yeah.
It's chaos, confusion, and wholly unworthy of feeding, and it's wholly untrue.
Yeah.
And that is like that being able to remember that what you're going through, your emotions still don't affect the world
Mm-hmm.
that you live in. And those voices are not real.
Right.
And sometimes they're not even ours. A lot of the time,
I
they're
was
not ours.
gonna say most of the time it's not. It's a learned
Yeah.
criticism that you pick up from
Yeah.
others.
And so being able to recognize like whose voice is that?
Mm-hmm.
Whose voice is that? And don't feed into it. Don't
Mhm.
feed that voice. It's wholly untrue.
Yeah.
Oh, love it.
They feel no purpose, no point for existing. It's all just conjecture and gloom.
Fact.
And there may not be meaning, so find one and seize it. Do not waste yourself on this room.
That too I really love is like there may not be meaning, but you find one. You
Mhm.
make one.
Yeah.
That's the beauty
Isn't
of like
that kind of the turning point though?
Yeah.
Like when you find a reason to give it meaning, so it's
Yeah.
not something you're suffering anymore.
well, and
it's
something where
purposeful.
you can stop trying to divine meaning from it and
Mhm.
choose your own purpose.
Yeah.
Right? Instead of like being subject to your life, you get to control it.
That's a hard
You
thought.
get to live it.
Sometimes I get that thought early.
Hmm.
Like if I'm in the middle of something really heavy, I'm always like, this serves a purpose. I have no idea what it is, but there's a reason for this.
Yeah.
And like it makes sense after the fact. Like I'll come back to it and be like,
Mhm.
oh yeah, like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the podcast now.
Right.
A lot of it
Oh,
we
yeah.
use as like our experiences and whatnot to talk
Mhm.
about. So
Well, and seeing all the mirrors everywhere too.
Yeah.
Because once you like learn to find your own meaning in things, and for me, like I like to ask, what am I supposed to learn?
Yeah.
And not in a like, God put this here for me to learn
Right.
a certain lesson, but in a like, okay, I'm going to go through it.
Mhm.
What can I pull from this that will give it value?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the trick too. I was watching something where they were talking about that, where giving it meaning is almost a negative. Like when you're trying to force a meaning
Yeah.
out of it, right?
Right.
Like
When you're trying to put the meaning in a box that you've already created,
yes.
so you're like, I need it to have this meaning
Mhm.
instead of letting it feed you.
Right.
Yeah.
You got to let it happen.
Right. Let's see.
Hear those bells ring deep in the soul, chiming away for a moment. Feel your breath course frankly below. See life as a worthy opponent. Today, see how the most dangerous thing is to love. How you will heal and you will rise above. Crowned by an overture bold and beyond. Rise more courageous to overcome.
des souvenirs d'une patrie.
Beat you.
Yep.
What were you going to say?
No, go for it.
I was thinking like structurally, if this was written first and then
Mhm.
composed for after, because it's just it seems like purpose driven. Like
Mm.
Like they wrote this out,
Yeah.
and then they like, oh, we can structure the music after the fact, which
That
is
could-
really,
Yeah.
you know what
I
I
think
mean?
so, because it's more like listening to like a passage or a poem or
Exactly, that's what
you
I
know
was
what I
thinking.
mean. Like it's a piece of literature in song,
Mm-hmm.
which I really like. It's just it's so beautiful. The whole thing is just gorgeous, start to finish. And then we come up here because guess what, friends? It's only like halfway over.
perdu de l'espoir d'une terre
We get
morte.
this really nice,
Ce
beautiful
divorce
break.
entre
And
l'homme
then-
de sa vie.
You want the acclaim, the mother's nothing worth the killing and fame. Or the taste of another be killing, just jump. You dense motherfucker, you want me more than a rat. So much more than a rat. You want my opinion, whatever you've got. You ask for my counsel, I gave you my thoughts. Be done with this now and jump off the roof. Can you hear me, Achilles? I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you.
There's such an interesting structure there where it goes from, so we have this like bit by bit building, right? We have these like outside voices.
Yeah.
Then we have this like sort of internal, sort of external voice. Then we have this internal voice of like, there's no excuse for you not to do this.
Yeah.
And then we have the two voices overlapping at the beginning of this section. And then they become merged.
Yeah.
And so you have this like dichotomy becomes the one thing becomes one overtakes the other, which I just think is so interesting because that's how we learn it, right?
Yeah.
When you learn to like call out those intrusive thoughts, you learn it from like this external to this internal but lagging, right?
Mhm.
Like it happens and then you call it out
Yeah.
to the two right on top of each other.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because like to me that's like the difference between being manic and not being manic. Like when it's stacked on top of itself, it's urgent, right?
Yeah,
There's an urgency, like you're actively fighting it.
fighting it. Yeah,
And then otherwise, like when I'm not manic or I'm medicated, like
Yeah.
it's so much easier to be like, no, ignore that thought. That's not, you know what I
Right.
mean? Like calling it out is so much easier.
right.
And it's really hard when I'm manic.
That's so interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I hadn't thought of it that way, but I get that where it's like you hit that urgency and it's like you either do or die, right?
Well, it even listening to the song, like it speeds up until it matches, and
Yeah.
that's kind of what it feels like.
That's interesting. We got to go back for a second.
With this now, so much more.
Sorry.
You're good.
Killing and fame with a taste. Don't listen, be killing, just jump. You dance, motherfucker. You killing me more than a rat. So much more than a rat. You want my opinion, whatever you've got. You ask for my counsel, I gave you my thoughts. Be done with this now and jump off the roof. Can you hear me, Achilles? I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to
And then it becomes the one voice.
Yep.
I'm talking to you. Achilles, come down. Achilles, come down.
I also really love this false end.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
This false end where it could end there, right?
Mhm.
Like it absolutely could, because you fought the battle, you've won the battle, you're surrendering
Right.
to like coming back to yourself.
Yeah. Well, that's the misstep that you can fall into too, right?
Yeah.
That is like, oh, this is it.
This is we beat it, it's over.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get this like false end here,
Yeah.
and then it picks right back. Oh, it's just so beautiful. See, could have been the end, not the end.
Ça serait trop beau. Mais il faut faire la part de ceux qui, sans conclure, interrogent toujours si l'ironie à peine il s'agit de la majorité. Je vois également que ceux qui répondent non agissent comme s'ils pensaient oui. De fait,
Throw yourself into the unknown with pace and a fury defying. Clothe
Okay, so that is like, it's just so interesting with that false end. It could, like we said, it could have been the end, but then with this verse, we get this like, so what now?
Yeah. It's the like healing.
Yeah, and I love that line: "Throw
Throw
yourself
yourself.
into the unknown."
Yep.
With a pace and a
Fury.
fury defiant.
Mm-hmm.
So in defiance of what you've been through,
Mm-hmm.
which is just, oh, I love it.
yourself in a fury defying. Clothe yourself in beauty untold and see life as a means to a triumph. Today of all days, see how the most dangerous thing is to love. How you will heal when you rise above. Crowned by an overture born and beyond. Rise more courageous to overcome.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like the ending.
Oh, so good.
Where like it is. It's like don't get complacent.
Yeah.
Be proactive.
Yeah. And fight. Like, keep going.
Take the
Soldier on.
experience and be stronger from your
Right.
experience.
Now, what is your interpretation of love is, like, the most dangerous thing is to love?
Well, that's vulnerability, right?
Yeah.
And
That's exactly where I went.
yeah. Well,
like,
we have
there's-
shared traumas.
Right. Well, and there's, like, it kind of has, for me at least, this double meaning of, like, everything else you go through is okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the most dangerous thing you're going to face is that vulnerability of soul.
Yeah.
And that is okay.
Yeah.
Like, oh, just so good. So good. I hope you guys enjoyed that one. I know we have.
They go
a
well
lot.
together. I like
Yeah.
that.
It's really good. Randy, have you heard Suicide by Ren?
Did you like it?
We just did that one. It was
Mhm.
really good. He did a very nice job on that one.
He does. He's just good in general.
Yeah. Like the structure of that one I really like too. Pretty.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty. They're beautiful, beautiful songs. And like soul grabbing songs where I found it and put it on repeat immediately. And I was like, listen to this now.
No, it was great because like I was in the middle of playing games and I was like, I turned it on and then when I heard it, I was like,
Mhm.
oh yeah, and then I added it
Yep.
and it was on repeat.
Yeah.
And I just listened to that while I was soloing stuff
Mhm.
because you know it's
I put it
great
on and
solo
cleaned the
music.
house listening to it on repeat.
Yeah.
Because when it's beautiful like that, I'm like, I want to know what the words are. I
Yeah.
want to learn the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I just repeat it until I know.
Yep.
It's good stuff. There you go.